So what's up guys, I'm back with yet another video, and in this one we're going to be installing the Ducabike clear clutch cover kit. Now with this kit I got the red pressure plate retaining ring. I did also get the pressure plate because I feel like this job looks really incomplete when you leave the stock pressure plate. So I did get a black pressure plate. And this should be fun to install because this is where a lot of people have problems getting the clutch packs lined back up. So, and then last but not least, we got the black clutch cover. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so before I go ahead and start taking the bike apart, I just wanted to cover this one thing real quick. I did go ahead and purchase a brand new clutch bearing and a clutch control pin just so I don't have to work with the factory one just in case I break it when I try to press it in. So I got brand new parts, and you know, it'll just make it easier to swap in and out. I don't have to redo any pressing. I will put the part numbers in the description for you guys. I got these from AMS Ducati and they ship them directly from the factory in Italy, I believe. It takes about a week or two to come in. It was about 22 bucks for the bearing and I think like 26 bucks for the pin. So yeah, let's go ahead and press these in and let's get started. Now I am gonna use safety glasses for this just in case when I'm pressing it, you know, if it pops out, hits me in the face, you know, I don't want to, you know, have any injuries. So let's go ahead and put these on. Get our parts set up. And as far as this press, it's a 1-ton arbor press. I got this from Harbor Freight. It was about 60 bucks. So we'll go ahead and put this on here just to protect this. Try to line this up. We want to get it centered. I'm going to put a little WD-40 in there. Here's the bearing, nice and smooth. And here's the new pin. So it's going to press in just like this. So I believe what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna press the bearing in and then I'll press the pin into the bearing. A little WD-40, just spray it on in there. All right, we'll hit the bearing with a little WD-40 as well. So next I'm gonna find a socket that fits, you know, close to snug inside here. Okay, so we're gonna go with the 19mm impact socket to press the bearing in, and as you can see, the socket fits nicely over the outside bearing race. Let's go ahead and pop this down in there, and we want to make sure this goes in straight. We do not want it to go in crooked. And it might be a little tough because I don't know if the inside of this thing is completely flat. Push this all the way up. Put this inside there. Want to get this centered. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, this is hard. My arm's still not as strong as it can be. All right, let's see where we're at. And it's all the way in, you can see. Hopefully the camera focuses. All right, not sure if you can see when I hold the flashlight up to it, but I'm checking to make sure the bearing race is pressed all the way up inside the pressure plate, and it is on all edges. So it did go in straight. And let's go ahead and press the pin in now. So we're just gonna put a little WD-40 around here. And some more around inside of there. And for this, I'm just gonna press right against the pin and just knock it right in. Just make sure it's lined up in the middle. Alright, and that went in much easier. Alright, so there we have it, nice and tight. So now we can go ahead and start disassembling the clutch cover from the bike. Okay, so this will probably be the easiest part, and that's taking the clutch cover off. And to do this, you do have to take off the fairings, the side and the lower. Definitely the lower. The side one, you can probably just pull it back and get to this screw here. But I really didn't want to bend on the plastic fairing like that. So I would rather just take both of them off, just so I have a nice clean area to work in. I do already have them off though, because as you can see, I'm in the middle of installing some parts. I got my frame slider going in, which I didn't finish yet because the frame slider bracket has to mount to these two bolts. So I'm gonna put that on last after we finish this up. And let's go ahead, you're gonna take an 8mm socket and just pop the bolts out. And you want to make sure you have the bike on the kickstand, just so no oil pours out of here. All right, and there we have it. Let's go ahead and put this to the side. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling the Ducabike clutch cover. Let's slide this out of the way. And we wanna take the outer part and mount it to the inner part. And the part that says special parts is gonna go on the top. And then on the inner cover, the part that says Ducabike is gonna go on the top. So these should go together just like this. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of oil, a little bit of engine oil on this O-ring here and pop it back in. I'm trying to get that out of there without breaking it. And I wanna go ahead and use actual engine oil other than WD-40 for this, because WD-40 kind of dries out rubber. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on my finger, just run it around my finger like that. Doesn't have to be too sloppy or dripping with oil, just a nice little coating. Let me go ahead and pop this back in. Get my rag and just wipe up any excess around the edge. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel off one side of the plastic. This side doesn't really matter if you touch it because it's gonna be on the outside, so you can clean it anyway. Like I said, one side you can touch because this side is gonna be on the outside anyway, so it's when we get to the inside, you wanna make sure you don't put your hands on it, but keep our hands on the outside. All right, got that lined up. Now let's go ahead, line this up. Start putting our screws in. For now, I'm just gonna snug the screws. I'm not gonna actually torque them down until I have the cover on the bike. And for this, you're gonna wanna use a 4mm. All right, we got that on. And lastly, we're gonna need to reuse this original clutch cover seal. So we're gonna take it off of here and just pop it right into this one. And to get this out, I'm just gonna use a real small pick just so I don't pinch the seal, and just get it around it and pop it right out. And for this, I'm not gonna put anything extra on it, no extra oil, because it's already covered in grease. So we're just gonna leave it like that and just put it right in. All right, so that's ready to go. Okay, so now comes the fun part, and that's getting the pressure plate replaced and still having the clutch packs in perfect alignment so you retain perfect clutch functionality. So once we have it done, this is what we want the clutch to do once it's back together. You see how it moves nice and easy like that? If it goes on wrong when you squeeze the clutch, nothing will move at all. So we need to make sure we have this same functionality when we're done, all right? So we're gonna take a 10mm socket and pop these 3 screws out. If you have a cordless drill, you can use that to, save a little time, but I prefer using hand tools for this. So all right, we got that off. I'm gonna line the springs so the springs go back in the same exact spot as well. Pull this out. Oh, I see what happens. When you pull this out, it twists. Okay, that's what's going on here. So we got the pressure plate off, and the last piece we need from here is those 3 little retaining rings. I was gonna buy new ones of those too, but they're like $10 a piece, and I'm like, I'm not paying $30 just for those 3 little rings. If they was like $3 or $4 a piece, I would have bought them, but they're easy enough to swap over. It's just, a little spring tension and they pop right out. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop these out, and then I'll pop them into the new plate, and we'll try our luck. Let's go. So to get these out, you just want to flip it over, take some needle nose pliers, and you can see where the spring is. Just apply a little tension here on the outsides of it and pop them out. Once you got the little rings out, you're just gonna go ahead and drop them right down in here. They should snap right in. That, you should listen for that little click, and then just check the back side of it just to make sure it's in place. All right, so we got all the spring retainer washers and the new pressure plate, and all right, so we got our new bolts, we got our new retaining ring. Let's see where I want to put this. And for this, we are using a 5mm Allen. When we're done, these bolts will get torqued to 10 Newton meters. But for now, I'm just gonna snug it up and check for proper clutch operation. And this is not right, I can tell, because the clutch packs are out too far. It's not gonna work. And just to double check what I already know, I'm pressing the clutch, getting no movement, so we gotta take it back out. And let's try again. So I know I said I don't want to use power tools on this, but it's very tiring to the arm, so I'm going to. So much quicker. Ah, let's see what it is. Okay, so I see what causes the problem, and it's basically that these teeth fall out of alignment with the with this cage here. So that's what you have to get back in place. There we go. All right, and then this one back here too. Basically, that back clutch has to go and line back up on this cage thing, and then the pressure plate will have to line up with this ring around here, this wider one. So let's go ahead and see if that worked. All right, so let's go ahead and pop the pressure plate back in and try to keep all of this stuff in place. Should be fun, because you have to get this lined up with this rod and still keep everything else in alignment. All right. Now I'm feeling really confident about this, because all of my clutch packs are in position where I want them. Let's go ahead and do this. So I'm gonna run these down with my cordless drill, but I'm gonna put the torque way down. All right, that's close enough. Now I'm gonna do the rest by hand. And now it's looking really good. And I'm confident that we're gonna have proper clutch operation after this. So all the springs are snug, not torqued, but they're all the way in. Now let's go squeeze the clutch and see if it works. Yep. There we go. So that wasn't that bad at all. Once you get it apart, you see how it works, and it's a lot easier to get it back together. So I'm gonna go ahead and torque these 3 bolts down to 10 Newton meters. All right, let's go ahead and clean this off. And now we're ready to put the cover back on. Look at that. So for these two bolts, I gotta put my frame slider adapter on there. So let me grab that. And for those two, I'm gonna use the two bolts they give you with the frame sliders. And I do have instruction video on how to install the CNC frame sliders on my channel. I'll put the link in the description for that as well. And this time I went with the red ones just because I knew I was gonna have the clear clutch cover, and I think this would have looked good together with that right next to each other. And I think it does look pretty good, so I think that worked out. All right, so all of these bolts around the clutch inspection cover are going to be torqued to 10 Newton meters. I wasn't able to find a torque spec on these, so I'll also see how 10 Newton meters feels on that, and we'll go from there. So just go ahead and torque this down. All right, and we're done. Let's wipe this off. Looking good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it up and let's see what we got. All right, so it looks like we don't have any leaks and this job is done. All right, so now all you have to do from this point is just go ahead, put the fairings back on, and then you're done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll check you guys on the next one. All right, peace. So just another heads up so you guys are aware, this frame slider kit is designed to go with the stock clutch cover. So when you put this bracket on, there's a gap between the front bracket and the rear bracket. And I'm glad I checked it, because if I would have tightened the frame slider bolt down, it would have probably bent this or put extra pressure on this clutch cover. So basically what you need to do is just put a washer in between this front bracket and the rear bracket just to take up that space. And then go ahead and put the puck on and you should be good to go. So yeah, make sure you check for that and try not to screw it up.